This isn't just any warning. It's a silent ultimatum. Max Verstappen, the most dominant driver of the modern Formula One era, is sitting on a landmine. A mine made of penalty points, unforgiven mistakes, and a rulebook that now breathes down his neck. This isn't a conspiracy theory, it's harsh reality. In Spielberg, a single point is enough to turn the Austrian Grand Prix into the prelude to a suspension at Silverstone. The track that has witnessed epic battles may soon watch the championship's biggest protagonist sitting on the sidelines. Christian Horner, usually composed during critical moments, has revealed a tension rarely seen inside the Red Bull garage. "We need to get through this weekend clean," he said. Words that hit like a ton of bricks. The message is crystal clear. If Max picks up another point, he'll miss Formula One's home race. No room for appeal. No favors. No protection for the three-time world champion. The irony? All of this is happening at the Red Bull Ring, the team's own circuit. But why all this pressure? Why this sudden red alert? The reason is brutally simple. Verstappen has accumulated 11 penalty points over the past 12 months. One more, and he will be automatically suspended for one race. The last 3 penalties came in Barcelona after a clash with George Russell, reopening old wounds. But the real bombshell is that some of those points won't expire until the Mexican Grand Prix in October, which means months of high tension for Max, for Red Bull, and for the entire paddock. And it's not just about statistics. The Red Bull Ring is a perfect trap for anyone driving on the edge. Turns 3 and 4 are notorious for incidents. Track limits are enforced with surgical precision. Steward decisions in Austria tend to rain down fast and hard. Verstappen knows this, but his aggressive nature makes him vulnerable. And this vulnerability isn't just a feeling. It's written in the numbers, in recent errors, in accumulated sanctions. And here's another chilling fact. No driver in Formula One history has collected as many penalty points as Max Verstappen. 39, more than Magnussen, more than Stroll, more than Vettel and Alonso combined. He's not just a fast driver, he's a moving target, who at times seems to chase risk rather than avoid it. The paradox: just when Red Bull needs to maximize every point, Verstappen is forced to drive with a psychological handbrake. One mistake, a single contact, and the team starman misses one of the most iconic races on the calendar. Silverstone, the cradle of motorsport, without Max. A scenario that sends shivers down the spine of anyone who cares about the World Championship, not just in Milton Keynes. And while fans wonder whether the FIA is overreaching or if Verstappen is genuinely testing the limits, the tension is growing inside the paddock too. Behind the scenes, the truth is that many rival teams are watching the situation with a mix of cynicism and opportunity. A suspension for Max would completely blow open the Drivers' Championship. McLaren, Mercedes, even Ferrari, they all know that without the Dutchman on the grid, a rare opportunity could present itself. But Verstappen isn't just the driver under scrutiny. He's also the man who has repeatedly challenged the steward's authority, on track, in press conferences, even over team radio. He's never been one to lower his head, and that attitude, admired by many, could now become his greatest enemy. It all gets even more complicated with Horner's own admission that the RB21's weak point is in the medium speed corners, the very ones that dominate the Austrian layout. And in those corners, Verstappen will need to be surgical. Precise to the millimeter, perfect. Otherwise, the penalty might not come from a dramatic crash, but from something as simple as a track limits violation. So the question now is, can Max keep his instincts in check for just one race during the most high-pressure, high-risk, high-stakes weekend of the season? If the Max Verstappen of recent years built his legend on controlled aggression and composure under pressure, the one we're seeing this season feels like a more fragile, more explosive, and noticeably more vulnerable version. And not just for technical reasons. The main issue today isn't the RB21's setup or aerodynamic efficiency. The issue is psychological. It's strategic. It's a driver carrying the weight of the world on his shoulders and knowing that a single gust of wind could make it all collapse. It's clear that Max is trying to adapt. But the instinct, the one that made him a 3-time world champion, is the same instinct that drives him to push beyond every limit. The risk is that this very nature could betray him at the worst possible moment. And while Horner tries to act as a lightning rod, the FIA seems to have no intention of going easy on him. In fact, the governing body has already shown in the past that when it comes to Verstappen, it can hit hard, very hard. The incident with Russell in Spain left more than a mark, not just because of the penalty points handed out, but because of the narrative that followed. Verstappen as the driver who always questions decisions, who doesn't accept criticism, who ignores warnings. A reputation that has followed him for years, but one that could now come back to haunt him. In this context, Silverstone becomes more than just another race. It's the crossroads of the season. Without Max on the grid, Red Bull could suffer a massive blow in the fight for the Constructors' Championship. And not only that, Verstappen's absence would suddenly open up the Drivers' Championship wide, with Norris, Russell, and even Leclerc ready to pounce. And let's be honest, in a title race this tight, one bad weekend is enough to flip everything on its head. But the pressure isn't just coming from outside. Inside Red Bull, there's concern. Not about Max's talent, that's never been in doubt, but because no one, not even him, seems to have full control of the situation. Angry team radios, sharp remarks, digs at the stewards and his own pit wall. These are all signs of a mental balance that's starting to crack. And if Verstappen really were to miss Silverstone, that crack could become a chasm. That's why many in the paddock are now starting to question whether the FIA should revisit the penalty point system altogether. Is it really fair that a driver can be suspended for a string of minor infractions? Is it right to treat a technical violation and a racing incident the same way? Or is it simply about consistency? These are questions that obviously won't be answered anytime soon. But in the meantime, they've got everyone holding their breath. And that's not all. Right now, Verstappen is also the face of a Red Bull that is no longer unbeatable. Signs of technical weakness are starting to show. Updates aren't working as planned. McLaren is fast, Mercedes is back, and even Ferrari seems more consistent. If you add to all this the potential absence of the team's top driver, the picture becomes genuinely concerning for the Austrian outfit. Yet, in the middle of this storm, one truth remains undeniable. When Verstappen is at his best, he's still the strongest driver on the grid. That's why this Austrian Grand Prix won't just be another race. It will be a psychological test, a proving ground for his ability to dominate even when he's not allowed to dominate. If Max gets through the Red Bull ring unscathed, the first 2 penalty points will drop off and the immediate danger will be averted. But if he succumbs to the pressure, if he gives into instinct, if he makes even one wrong move, then yes, we may witness one of the most dramatic turning points Formula One has seen in years. So, what do you think? Can Verstappen keep his emotions and his driving style in check to avoid suspension? Or are we really witnessing the beginning of a psychological and sporting collapse that could flip the entire season on its head? Let us know in the comments below. We want to hear your thoughts on the Verstappen case, the FIA's rigidity, and the future of this championship. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any of the next breaking stories from the paddock. The next video is already waiting for you. Click on the screen and continue with us on this journey into the chaotic beauty of Formula One. Thanks for being with us, and as always, we'll see you on track.